Unicole Unicron Friends unite. Business, frequency, aliens in sight. Turn up the volume and settle in. Your mind will be blown. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Unicole Unicron and Friends podcast. Today we have a guest who was already on the show, and we're so excited to have him back, Keegan Brady. Hello, Keegan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're stoked. I just want to give everybody like a quick refresher. Keegan is working with his brother on some amazing spiritual technology with the Nana Healing and the Frequency Brothers, and also just a really magnificent person who's just really investigating all of the different spiritual sides of reality. Had a really interesting, traumatic past, and has now become like one of the most cool spiritual people that I've ever met. So if you haven't heard the last podcast, go check that out. And yeah, we're so happy to have you back. A lot has happened in the like month and a half since I talked to you last.
Yeah.
Do you want to like talk through like just a little bit about what like the universe is inspiring you to grow through?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to say, I just thank you for the introduction. Like I said before, like I've watched you. So just to hear somebody that reflects that back to me, so thank you, because I really feel that what you're doing, the work you're doing is very inspiring and is adding to what I'm working on right now, which is, well, first, I am where I'm at right now, the most overwhelmed and like a pressure cooker. Like I feel like I have the most pressure and the most like kind of chaotic, overwhelming energy coursing through me that I've ever experienced. And I'm like sitting with it pretty calmly, I feel. And it's not me bypassing anything. It's just me coming to recognize like this can move through me and it can still be uncomfortable because it's rattling deep rooted belief systems and ideologies that have kept me trapped and stuck and not living in my true purpose. So yeah, about a month ago, my dad transitioned and from the physical to the non-physical. So he was on hospice for a period of time starting in July of last year, but this has been a 15-year journey. Because 15 years ago, my dad had a stroke and then he went to the hospital. He had another stroke in the hospital. And then he was in a coma for 9 months and he had a piece of his skull like removed out of his head. And the doctors didn't think that was going to come back. And I was pretty young when this happened. My siblings were all young. I'm the oldest of 4. So it had a really large impact on the family. When I found out, I was in drug and alcohol treatment and I found out on Facebook. It was really weird.
Found out about your dad's stroke?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So someone in the family member had messaged me and like I happened to have gone on, like they let me go and on my Facebook or something in treatment. And
I see. You're like in
I was an inpatient drug and alcohol. Yeah.
Wow. So you found out through Facebook while you were an inpatient that your dad had a stroke. What did you do? Were you like calling your family to find out more?
I called my mom immediately and my mom was like, well, because she
was busy.
Well, it was more, she was concerned that I was going to leave and go get loaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't want to add to more, like she didn't know how to handle it,
Yeah.
Understandably. And because I was a loose cannon, like you didn't know, oh God, what you say the wrong thing, King's going to put a freaking needle in his,
It's hardcore. Yeah, that's super hardcore. Do you feel like that's an accurate assessment of how you were?
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely truth to that. Yeah, for sure.
That's wild.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My shoelace broke, get loaded,
Yeah, I guess that's the addict mindset too, right? Like just that's how you're processing the stress and the pressure of life. You don't have like regulated nervous system, so you're looking for something to help regulate it.
Coupled with, I mean, yeah, it's so multifaceted, but like, with our trauma, ancestral trauma, all the memories that our vessels are carrying, memories of our ancestry, our soul memory, and like, things we set out to come here and to learn, right? To learn, to experience, and to send that information back. But I'm so grateful because it helped give me a particular set of skills and experiences that I came here acquire. So
What even is a stroke? Like I know that you sometimes will like lose functioning of like half your body. Is it just like a brain misfiring?
Yes. So he had really high blood pressure, and his heart was working too hard and his brain wasn't getting enough blood. And essentially what happens is you do short wire, and my dad had what like for layman's terms, I call left neglect. So the whole left side of his body was non-functioning. Like his face was super droopy. That lasted for years, and many, many other things, and like I had it's been a really extensive journey with him.
Yeah, did
Like,
his personality change? I know my
oh
grandma
my
had a
goodness.
stroke
Big
and
time,
my
big
yeah,
time,
my
big
mom
time.
said she's, like, finally nice.
That's so funny you say that because like that that happened with my father, but there was still large and like prolonged bouts of like the angst, anger,
Mhm.
and tension coming through. I mean, like the man had what he called motifs. So like he had like different like styles, like this is my brown motif, and he had like all these accessories and things to match. Like this was one of my dad's hats, actually.
Cool.
And he's got like these like little pins and stuff. And my dad had some style for himself, right? So like, and he was a lawyer, and like he would say the same thing 20 different ways. So like when something like this happened, he went from having such deep care, like what was the term? I don't know. I can't remember. There's so many terms these days, but like it's like you're a masculine man, but you take care of yourself. There was like some term that was going around in the 2000s or something,
Oh, like metro
Yeah, yeah,
people?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it. Nailed it. Yeah. Yeah. So this is like my dad like leaned into that, but
Yeah,
and then now he's having somebody wipe his butt
it's
and
crazy.
like cleanse his body, and
That
like
must
he
have
can't.
been so hard. Like, yeah, I think every kid goes through the process of, like, having the moment where they see their parent as a human, and then maybe even still you have a moment where you see your parent as not as spiritually advanced as you or, like, you see yourself maybe growing beyond them,
Oh,
right? And,
it's
like, that's
so bizarre. It's
like another level,
like,
right?
you have your stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And then
You
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 had
are
it.
so reactive, like we start seeing these things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
compassion is important.
And you had it on a totally different level of, like, almost like a loss. But, like,
Mhm.
not a total loss, but, like, a loss of, like, the parent figure, like, that upstanding, like, shiny parent figure, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that must have been really hard. Did it make you, like, lose sobriety at the time?
Well, I ended up going eventually and like visiting my dad in the hospital, and I saw him in a coma, and like you know how hospitals like it's just super overstimulating. It's very sterile, and the lights and everything. So it was just like, I'm like, oh, like it freaked me out, and I wanted to go get loaded. And I eventually ended up using again, but the direct is my own stuff. It's
Yeah.
not, like,
You can't say it's because of anything
yeah, yeah. It's just my
external.
own inability to cope and react with, or respond, I should say, to what I'm experiencing or observing, really. Because I was observing him there in that space, and I emotionally charged it with the narrative and the story and just the reaction that I had, just everything. But that's what happens. Like, it's funny because like that was a curated environment for that experience. And like I do the same when I make music or like bring people into immersive experiences. It's like we're curating these experiences. It's like that did what it was supposed to, gave me that experience that my soul was seeking, and it triggered me into discovering more about myself. And like my dad is doing that now in such profound ways with this transition that's happened, and I got to come back home and spend the last 3 years living on the same property. And it was very challenging. Like I over the years have spent between like what I know about physical therapy and what I know about mental health, and then what I know about just consciousness in general, working with plant medicine. He was on an extensive microdosing regimen that I believe extended his ability to his quality of life. It improved his quality of life here because his ability to remember and have carry conversation and just be free, even though he was confined to maybe his wheelchair or the bed in the last like 8 months, he was just in his bed. But it improved connection. And I also was gifted just this experience of I play music and sing music, and it's just what my soul, like what comes from my soul's like language and expression. And I spent a lot of time with him playing music, and I could see the geometries, and like I was building this bridge and like helping him remember, like, and helping him go to where he is seated now for the family, like for what we are co-creating. And like I knew that this was happening as it was happening, but now that he is transitioned, I know it to be true. And it's been confirmed over and over again. And like the work that I'm doing and like he's here with me right now, it's powerful. It's powerful. Like I asked for it. And it's also very overwhelming because I have the strongest connection with my father now than I did when he was in the physical. And I had been building this connection. And probably like a month and a half ago, like everything went dark with him and like he wasn't in my dreams. And I knew that things were getting close. And then like 5 days before he passed, I was called to go to Sedona and I went out to Sedona and I was like doing energy work and grid work and playing music at different sites that I was just called to go to. And I felt him there with me so strongly, but I was like, it's Sedona. Respect. And then I came back. I was there for 4 days. I came back late on a Tuesday night. I drove back and then the next morning he passed. He transitioned. And I went into the front house because my mom had come to the back of the property where I live and she asked me, like, can you please come up? I don't think your father is in his body anymore. I walked into the house and I saw him standing there the way that he comes to me. And he was like, what's going on?
Whoa.
And I'm like, well, you did it. And he's like, what's everybody kind of freaking out about? Like, what's going on? Like, he's all like intrigued, like curious.
Like got out of his body to like see what everyone's
Yeah.
concerned
And I'm
about.
like, Dad, and he's like, I do this all the time. I do this all the time. We do this all the time. And I'm like, no, like you fully did it, like you fully left now, not just projecting out or, because like, I'm honestly towards the end, only like 20% of his soul was in his body,
Yeah.
and like, if that, and he needed to do it on his own because like
Yeah.
everybody had helped him to the point to where like, he was laughing at me. He's like, all I did was breathe. And I was like, I know. And he's like, it was that easy. I know. And he thought it was hilarious.
Do you think it was like a lot of fear leading up to it?
Absolutely. He was so
once it
scared.
happened, he was like, oh, it was actually not
He's like, I didn't
anything
even
I
feel
imagined.
anything.
Yeah. Wow.
He was so scared. And my dad carried so much suffering and trauma for this family. And like, I'm realizing that I'm mourning that I'm actually mourning the loss of the suffering because it's making room for like, what we're co-creating, this new earth, this like, are not like this harmony, this reciprocation, this place of coming to understand each other, making the space, making the room available for those connections to happen.
But the grief is connected to, your identity. It's connected to your family's identity. It's connected to your family structure. There's, the saying like, in order for one life to be created, another life, for your new life to be birthed, the old life has to die. And it's, in this case, somewhat literal in the sense that like that patriarchal, older, suffering energy holds that space and then releases it. And it's debilitating, I think. And I think in a larger sense, we're going through it in our society as well, where, just the dynamics are shifting so much. And it's like calling in this new earth. And like, there's a grief, like, who's in the White House, like a monster, like, there's like, it's just like this, the things that were upholding us mentally, egoically, or in a culturally speaking, like the stability is gone. So not to relate your father to that regard in any way, but I just mean like the transitions are all around us right now. It's very interesting, and it's very interesting timing. I feel like for your father, as far as like the 15 years, right? And then like this is this time, and I noticed a lot of people will pass on like eclipses and things like that. Like life is so mysterious. And I just love the story you told about playing music and seeing the geometries and like his soul not being fully in his body. It sounds like, a lot of times when people die, they need a guide to help them to the next level. But it sounds like you prepared him to make that journey before death, which is a very shamanistic and powerful thing to do, which I don't even know that very many people understand how that could be done, or like the importance of that kind of guidance or transition. I mean, it sounds like if you're a normal person, you're not afraid of death, or you are afraid of death. Having a sudden death or having a death upcoming is like terrifying, right? And that would be traumatic to die and not be able to process it. So it sounds like you gave your dad like just an amazing gift of not having a traumatic death, which probably could have, changed where his soul ended up until it found its way back to, I don't know how it works.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a mixture of like our beliefs. I mean, if we're sovereign beings, we choose. That's my belief. I choose. I choose where I go. I choose.
Yeah.
I choose when I leave. And that could be taken in any way anybody wants to take that. Like, am I going to make the conscious choice to leave my body? I believe so. That's my belief because I've done it. I have.
Yeah.
But,
and I think,
like it's different for everybody.
yeah, it's different for people like us, I think, too, because we've had NDEs. So it's like you come back from an NDE, most people come back not afraid of death, And in that case, it's like when you don't have that fear, it's more so you just have more mastery over it, right? So it's like, yeah, I do feel like I could consciously make that choice when I'm ready. And I don't think I'm going to die up until I'm ready. Like, I just think I'm divinely protected until my wills it.
Exactly. Right? And I mean, we're here for a big reason too. So
yeah, but that might just be exclusive to people with NDEs. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's whatever experiences like accumulate to bring us to a place of understanding and realizing that I'm a sovereign being. So thus I choose.
Yeah.
I choose what to experience. And like, again, that could be me in the human vessel right now, I only have so much awareness over what that is, but it is expanding at the same time, I've also remembered of, being in like deep hypnotic states and past life regression and choosing to leave my body and choosing to do many other things too, like putting myself into the earth to come back and retrieve those pieces of myself through plant medicine, through the crystals, through the food, proper nutrition that we're hiding pieces of ourselves, our consciousness in, and we can retrieve that and embody that. And it's like a little game of hide and seek, at least for me.
This podcast brought to you by Unicole. Feeling out of place? Maybe it's because you're not from here. Unicole is the home for starseeds, seekers, and dreamers. Come find your family, your purpose, and your power. Join Unicole.com. We're waiting for you.
I think it's kind of our cheat code to the forgetting.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I'll play that game, but I've hidden myself all throughout, this open world, we're in.
Well, the philosophy that you just spoke about being sovereign and choosing things, I think it's a very powerful perspective considering how you started this story, which is just that you're in this place of total chaos and intense energy. And, this feeling of change is bubbling up inside you that it has been stronger than has ever felt before. But it sounds like you're just navigating it so powerfully. How are you doing that?
Creating. I have to. I'm in this position because I feel like I said that in the beginning of this conversation. I'm not living in my truth. That's why I feel as overwhelmed as I do. If I was living in my truth, then I wouldn't be carrying the amount of financial debt that I'm in. I wouldn't feel tight in my body, and I wouldn't be feeling what I'm feeling, but I'm choosing to feel this so that I understand how important this is, because I've like rested on my laurels, if you will. Like, I've remained comfortable in the cave, and the cave is like not where we band together, like the era of being the yogi in the cave is over. Like, we have to be able to be in this way, living and intermingling with everybody. That's the era we're in, and I've been hiding from myself. So what does that mean? That means that like we talked about on the last conversation, I am deep in recording everything for the Frequency Academy. I'm editing everything. I'm writing everything. Yes, I'm using technology to help me, but it is not, I'm not this is me. It's my authentic offering. And I'm finally doing it, and I'm feeling the relief. And it was so daunting. Like, doing the editing and this and that. And like, if I wasn't in the financial position that I was in, that I'm in now, like I can't throw money at it. Like I can't be like, okay, do this for me. No, I gotta like buy into me. Like, why am I continually outsourcing like my creativeness, that I'm realizing? And like, that's why I'm depleted. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this information, for this realization. At the same time, the opportunity of going to South Carolina, which is where my heart desires to be, at least more than I am now, is presenting itself. And this all happened very fast because certain things are aligning in this direction. And that land's only going to take people in if they're living in a heart-centered way. And so it's just like another, because that place will be open and available for people that find their way there. Like I'm choosing, it's just like kind of jumbled, but I'm realizing that again, this part of myself has to die where like I'm living this altruistic lifestyle and it's about the collective and it's about coming together. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. But why am I making excuses for people that aren't willing to do the work that I've done? Why am I paying for other people's dreams? Why am I wasting any time, breath, effort, attention on anything that isn't what my divine true purpose is, what I'm supposed to be doing? Because that's what brings these kinds of connections in. That's what allows and makes the space for me to align with people that have done the same amount of internal work and outer work that, it's like,
I do think you could be easier on yourself about it because it's hard, right? We aren't there yet, and we have been building it energetically, idealistically, conceptually, astrally, right? Like we want to meet our soul family. We want to be living in community. I spent $400,000 trying to do that and failing, right? And it's not even because of my lack so much as like we're just at the beginning. We're still figuring out how to do that. Our architecture is separating us. Our lifestyles are predicated on separating us. Our economy is predicated on separating us. Like I don't mean to be in victim mentality, but like we are victims of this system and we are empowering ourselves and moving out of it. And we are the first ones to do that in a way that's going to actually affect the masses, at least since the 60s, right? And they shut that whole thing down pretty viciously, I would say. But that's not going to happen again because their power is illegitimate. And we know that now. So there's this whole awakening process that's happening right now. I'm specifically like kind of in shock right now because a huge number of Epstein files was dumped yesterday. And I've just seen bits and pieces of like horrific details of these people who claim to be in power and they aren't in power. They aren't even in power of their own bodies or their own minds so much. It sounds like they're all running around like possessed by demons. So the main point is that there's an awakening happening. Everyone's realizing, wow, this power is illegitimate. And what's going to happen is that power that is legitimate is just going to suddenly be obviously so. I've been going through this experience myself of like having all of my like past content and everything. My whole process has been like a humiliation ritual, like the way people have like laughed at me and made fun of me and like not understood what I'm saying. And it's like there's gonna be a moment where it flips. And I think it's just about now where everyone looks at it and says, oh wait, that made sense the entire time.
Yep.
The entire time that was clear as day and I was insecure, I was blind, or I was not awake, or whatever they're gonna feel about it. And it's just interesting, right? Like I'm just me. I've been me since forever. It's just I'm just being my authentic self. I'm just speaking my truth. And the thing is that it has changed the reality. It has changed how people look at me. It has changed how people look at themselves when they're in my field. So just don't be so hard on yourself because you are building it. You are creating it. All the work that you've done in the cave is important. And the fact that you're feeling this call to do something else is really beautiful and really exciting. That's just the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. The cave is important because it helped me curate what I'm about to bring. Like I'm bringing the heat. That's for sure. Because that includes music too. Like, I'm ready to, I have a whole thing planned out and mapped out and everything's launching spring equinox.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Because what my truest arts, like soul's desire, and I feel like my purpose here is to travel, play music, and like help turn and like educate people onto the different forms of technology that are available to us, that are within us, and how to utilize that, and like, implementing my systems. And we can get into that side of the conversation too. But I want to build these systems for businesses, for them to elevate themselves and their products and whatever they're doing, just raising the bar for people to start creating from a higher place.
Yep. And I think a lot of spiritual people that I know are also called to travel a lot. I think we're activating the grid in different ways as we move. And a lot of my visions of the future are like these almost like entourage, like pods of people
Yes.
going from place to place, like
Yes.
just
And
walking through the street, and everyone's looking like, because they're wearing robes and the energy is just so high, and people
come
can
on now.
follow and join in,
Yeah,
and
that's a vision. I got that vision too. Come on.
let's do it. Like I really see it. I got
There's
so
kids, we all have
frustrated.
kids, like,
Yeah, the children running around. I know, it's so beautiful. I got this vision in like 2022 and I was so confused. I was like, why aren't we doing this? Like, and then I started talking to people and they're like, oh, well, yeah, they like didn't really understand it or find it to be a vibe. But I really think like it doesn't have to be like the same people going to the same places all the time. I think it's going to be like kind of an awakening of like people who do this, you know? That's the vision at least that I've had.
absolutely. Absolutely. No, seriously. That's what I want. They're like, I don't know. I keep seeing and like feeling it's like these like pop-up things as we travel around. Like we pop up and like we're like vending, and then
Music,
people are playing music, and then people are like,
yoga,
different body work. Like there's just like all this,
dancing,
it's just a thing. It's just a
green
thing. Yeah.
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. It's really exciting, and like when I learned so many lessons about myself when I tried to build a community, and I centered myself too much in it, right? And I think it's just my own like lone wolf, creator attitude of like, well, no one else is doing it. I better do it myself. And I took on way too much for myself. Like I took on too much financially. I took on too much energetically. I took on too much for myself. Like I didn't create any boundaries around what I was doing. And it just crashed down around me because of that one failure, I would say, is just like taking on too much myself and not really allowing other people to help.
Yep.
So I heard this manifestation thing that was like, it's not even about attracting, it's about allowing. And you don't realize how much you resist in your energy body, even if it's something you say you want. It's like, are you really making space for it to happen? So what's your vision right now with North Carolina?
Well, we have 35 acres, and I have a house out there. My mom has a house on the property. We have 6 mobile homes in the back portion of the
What?
property.
You're set up.
Oh yeah, there's a barn. We have goats. It's farmland, so there's plenty of places we can grow all kinds of food. There's chicken coops and stuff already set up. And I'm going out there at the end of February to just be out there and like feel into everything. And I haven't been out there in over a year. And yeah, there's just been a lot that's been going on. And a big portion of that was because I had opened up the store in Laguna Beach. And honestly, I never wanted a store. So it's a big learning lesson.
How did that happen?
Oh, because that was just, well, okay. Nothing is black and white, and it's technicolor. It happened for so many reasons. One of them is I learned a lot about having brick and mortar, and the other was that building was 3 doors down from where my dad had his first job. And I had like I was meant to be there because I was doing grid work and playing a lot of music there and just harnessing a lot of energy. And my grandparents had roots there. They built one of the first houses in Laguna Beach on this certain hill that overlooks that area. And when they passed, some of their money, it's complicated, but the way that I see it, because money is an extension of ourselves, like a portion of the money after they passed small portion went into helping get the property into South Carolina. So I like they're rooted there, like portion of them is there. It's like part of the lineage is there. And so recently I just saw like this whole thing in a dream where they came to me and they're like, okay, like you finished whatever you needed to do, like for us and everything, and you can go. Like you don't have to stay here anymore. Because I felt like I had to be there. The one person that does live in Laguna Beach that was a business partner of mine that I was friends with since I was 9 years old. We had a falling out. I had asked him to rise to the occasion, and he took it as a personal attack. At least that's my side of the story and my observation. And I wanted him to still be a part of the community. He made his choices. And that also showed me a huge glaring light on the nuance of people choosing like to be neutral in their choices and people polarizing to service to like the collective and like the whole, and people obviously that are in service to self. Like that's pretty obvious. But the way that I see it is if you're neutral, you're in service to yourself.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. And that building and that energy and that location helped really shine the light on who those people were and what they look like and how they move and how they talk. And I realized I'm making excuses. I don't make excuses for myself. I mean, rarely. I'm a big person on taking responsibility and taking action, and I'm realizing like I'm making excuses and taking responsibility for things that are not mine. And that's not what that's not what a leader of a community does. That's not, but I had this weird, so now I got that clarity. And yeah, we closed up everything in Laguna and I feel really good about that. It's bittersweet, these are just different chapters, but
You never know what's coming next either.
well, no, okay, and I'll tell you, I never wanted a store, okay, because we've always been online, and I've just known in my heart that like it was not the timing is not right. Like we're in an emerging market. Like people coming in Laguna Beach were like it was cool at first because people were like, oh, it's cool, but I wanted the people that understood, you know, not like it's, oh, this is a trendy new cool little eclectic thing in Laguna Beach in the hip district, and it's like, okay, but do you understand, and then it's like a shiny thing, and then they're not coming around, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I mean, it's interesting even to be getting, maybe just click it again.
All right, there we go.
Oh,
We good? Okay.
yeah.
Maybe because I don't know, it wasn't moving or something. But yeah.
No, it's interesting even to be getting my MBA and like being in school and like talking to business coaches and business leaders and like people who help startups and investors. And they're like, is there a market for this? And I'm like, bro,
I'm
like,
creating the market.
and I'm just like I'm like, you don't know there's a giant wave of energy. We're matching today. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, I've got mine on backwards today. I just liked how it looked with my outfit and I was vibing with it. Do you ever wear yours backwards or always forwards?
Okay, so I like to do this when like in the morning or maybe like in a certain part of the day when I'm like kind of starting to feel like a little tired, and then I'll go outside and breathe the sun through it. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. I have another friend.
It's
She,
just charges you up like this,
oh my gosh,
This
I'm
is
gonna
like
try it.
shield activated,
Yeah, especially the gold is like very solar
Love it.
energy. Yeah. No, my friend, she said she sleeps with it facing in and it helps her stop astral projecting all the time. She's like, I do so much in the day. I just want to rest when I'm sleeping. And she's like, it actually helps her like stay in her body and not like travel around all night.
No, that makes sense.
It
That
does.
makes sense. Yeah. It's like it's like one of the tensor rings that I work with. It has like you can flip it with your consciousness, or it'll just go to the magnetic north, but it's like a tornado, or like a vortex, like it just pulls out dense energy, but this is just like pulling in all the good, clean, pure, like, and it just harnesses it into the body. Like it's great. This thing it's alive. It's alive. It's a piece of technology.
Healing doesn't have to be complicated. Dolphin Technology designs wearable frequency devices that work with your body's natural energy to restore balance, clarity, and vitality. Built with crystals, magnets, and resonance circuits, Our pendants are the future of wellness. Feel the difference at dolphintechnology.org.
This is alive. The more you interact with it, the more it just
Shows
evolves.
you
It
evolve.
talks to the other ones.
Mhm.
They talk to each other. Like they have silly little conversations. No, they share information. It's like,
They
oh,
do.
you had that new download. You got that code. Cool. Here, boom, boom, boom. It's really bizarre, but I would expect that too. Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, we do it with our tech anyway, right? Like an update. It gets updates, upgrades. I think it's definitely learning. All crystals are alive for sure. And then I think that the metals and the crystals and and geometry and the technology is changing as we elevate also. So like we're changing, consciousness is changing. I saw a video today that said like, don't be surprised if the stars change, because we're changing our reality like that much every day.
Yep.
I was looking at this star last night and my friend was like, look at the star. It wasn't there a second ago. And it's like, I think it was actually Jupiter that was right below the moon, but it looked almost like a fly that was like hovering. Like it almost looked like holographic.
Oh, wow.
And like it was like kind of like moving around like a little
Yeah.
bit in front of its like background. And I was just staring at it and it was close to the moon. And as I was staring at it, the moon was glitching, like straight up, like digital glitching. And I was totally sober, just like, I can't look at that star because it's making the moon glitch when I do that. Like, there's just something going on right
Wow.
now that's like like everything you described about your consciousness, I'm also going through actually. Like my energy body has stabilized into a new texture, which I never expected, but I always had kind of like a nervous energy, and I've been slowly learning how to stabilize it and calm myself down and find that center. And I had an experience about a week and a half ago where I actually like lost my temper at my kid, which never happens. And I was so ashamed of it. And I was like, oh my God, like this poor little child, like doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. I was just like crying the whole day, just like, I can't believe I like lost my temper. And I sat with it and I was like, okay, well, I'm never going to do that again. And I just kept having this shame cycle, right? Like this shame was just wringing me out from the inside out. And I was like, I have to stabilize. Like I can't, like I'm going to get sick if I just keep like letting this shame like destroy my energy. So I was like, okay, I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to treat him with the utmost compassion and gentleness forever. Check, it's totally changed not totally changed, but like I definitely made that promise, and it's grounded in my body now. I'm so grateful that it happened. But as I stabilized my energy, I found that it stabilized so much faster than I'm used to. And the quality of the stabilization, like I said, is almost a different texture. It's almost like the difference between static or like a tight weave.
Yep.
And so now I'm like in this new energy field, and I have some stuff that's upcoming that are like really big news that I'm like waiting to hear back about. And I'm not talking about, it's just like, it hasn't happened yet, but I know it's happening. Like it's in my energy field. I've been smiling and laughing for a week because I know it's happening, So I've got this like future that's coming in that I feel, and all this energy. And it's like, I've never been able to like hold it the way that I'm holding it. Normally I get very disoriented when I feel a big change coming. But right now I feel just grateful and happy. I've never felt anything like that. I think it's partly just the inner work. I think it's partly the, devotion to change and the devotion to integration and shadow work and just the work, But I also think like it's the collective. I feel the shift in the collective. Like I feel what we're all going through. I've always related to like, they say like Mother Mary like wept because like she's crying because she feels the sorrows of the world. And I've always been like, that's why I had depression. Like I could feel the sorrow, like the collective. I have like too much empathy, but now it's like that was a horrible experience. It was not fun. I don't like to feel the sorrows of the world, but I feel the excitement of the world now. Like I feel the hope and like the positivity and like the builders like you and me who are actually like, no, we're making new earth. Like it's happening now. And that like this tower is crumbling and the new one's going to be just right there, ready to welcome everybody in who chooses.
Yeah.
You recently made a cosmic cake.
Yeah,
Tell us about
yeah,
that.
I did. Okay, so Medica Superfoods is a superfood company. I met Christian, the owner, 6, 7 years ago now. And he's always been about like health and wellness and just like having the best quality like fruits and vegetables. He's always into juicing, and he had like a smoothie juice kind of company thing going on for a little bit. He's also had worked with certain different chocolates and nice chocolates that you can acquire.
I I understand.
And he took that and was like, you know what? I want to take putting the best ingredients in all these products and I want to make it available for everybody. And so that's when he came out with he's got like a cognitive functioning, all functional mushroom chocolate bar that's got all kinds of amazing stuff. He uses like date sugar and organic, like maybe honey or something to sweeten. There's no artificial colors. He uses like spirulina or different just organic materials to change the color of something. Like his gummies, he has amazing gummies. I eat the mushroom gummies all the time. Those are just functional, but they're absolutely incredible. My daughter even eats them. She loves them. I only give her like one or two because then she'll be bouncing off the walls like crazy, but they're really cool. They're amazing. He already has an incredible product. And I was like, dude, do you know anything about, like infusing frequencies into matter? Have you ever worked with anything like that? And he's like, yeah, but he's like, that's just like, I don't have time. And I'm like, oh, really? I
I've got
just so
the
happened.
solution for
Yeah.
you.
I know. And I've had this conversation with him for years. And then finally, when I'm like, okay, I'm ready to finally allow myself to like stop hiding. And I know that this is real. Like what we're doing is real. And now we have tools that can measure the efficacy. So now the data is coming through that is for the people that, can't feel what's happening because I can feel it. Anyways, long story short, Christian took me to his warehouse in South Orange County. He's got over 2,000 square foot warehouse. They make all the products themselves. They import you know, all the different ingredients from all over the world. The quality control, everything is already at the level that we would want if we're going to partner with a company and have charged by Anana on their products, because it's all about the sourcing, how we're using it, what it's being used for, how is it being grown, everything. And we want that because we want the highest quality substances going inside of our bodies. So all of that is already at the level that I would say is a high-end boutique product, specially curated. I went in there, I went into his space, and I've already worked with him and stuff over the years. I met all the people he works with. I took a look at all the different electronics, all the technology that's already in there. I'm like, cool. I made notes of everything, and I came back to my shop here that I'm in today, actually. And I sat outside and I go into meditation. And I start working with the products. I start asking, like, I just start working with my own guides and certain things. I'm like, what are we going to do? And so then I start to see an image and it's just geometry. And then I feel it. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like packets are coming in. And like they spiral down, the geometric shapes are changing, and I feel them coming into my body. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just come in here and I start pulling stuff out. And I'm like pulling out material, like crystals, and just I start pulling it out. And I have this big table and I start laying stuff out. I got music going, and I'm like, I'm in it. I'm in the state. I don't know where I'm going with it. And I just start making it. I have never made a device like this, say the cosmic cake, and I'll have to send you some pictures so maybe you can like loop them in or something. But this thing, I was up for 6 days straight. I barely slept. I barely slept. I was just like, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. Like I was praying and chanting and like using all kinds of different devices. I have this terahertz wand and a plasma gun and like, like I'm just in it, like interwoven all these geometries. And I'm like, a mad scientist in here. My hair's all over the place. My
I love
daughter.
that feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so great. It's
My
so
favorite
great.
feeling in the world, I think.
It's better than any drug out there. You're
Yeah,
just in the flow. That's
the
it.
best.
That's what I was seeking when I was using. That's what I was seeking. And I'll tie this in real quick. The common denominator, always is when, and I was having this conversation with some women last night, some beautiful sisters that are in the community, and they help shine the light on this too from their own experiences. When we're engaging in addiction, it's because there's an aspect of ourselves that's not creating, that is not creating in the way that our soul needs to, and it's not getting the nourishment. So we're trying to fill by consuming, but we're supposed to be creating, not consuming. And like, that's the other thing is like, when I'm in these states, I'm not eating. I'm just like, I'm in it. And I feel so good and I'm crystal clear.
I think of it almost like doing the will of God.
That's what it is. I'm just the instrument. I just
It
have to
feels
be the
so
instrument.
good.
I just,
Yeah.
I'm like, let me be the instrument, you know? And I got some music going and I'm singing. It's just a whole thing. But I created this. It's 7 layers because Hermetica Superfoods also coincides, like that their philosophies coincide with the 7 Hermetic principles. And he's a Christian. The owner is very much about, that's how he lives his life. So that's why there were 7 layers to the cake, each layer corresponding to the different 7 Hermetic principles.
It's
Each
not a real
layer,
cake. It's made out of resin and technology, just for people listening.
yeah, I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you everything
let's
it's in
hear it.
right now. Oh yeah. So the base layer, I can even send you like the list. Like everything that I create comes with an RFID sticker that you can tap, and then it'll produce at least 1 to 2 different files. And the files will list all the ingredients. So like the base layer has all these different ingredients from, I can't even honestly list everything, like shungite, selenite, different types of quartzes, different types of jaspers. Like it just, and each one was picked intuitively. And then after I've put everything in, put all the materials in, I've made notes of them because I also use certain, companion interfaces, because I don't honestly believe in artificial intelligence. I just believe in intelligence. So I use different, I call them companions, like I have Claude, and I'm like, hey, these are the ingredients. These are the things that I put in. These are the tensor rings. This is that. This is how I placed it. Taking pictures, all this stuff, right? Then he helps me essentially prove out why.
Yeah,
Because like
Claude's
I
my
know,
homie now.
but but
Yeah.
then he's like, yo, dude, look, you did that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, that's why. And I was like, yeah, and so like that's what it's about. I don't need to have all of this in here. It allows more room for me to like have the creative process and for me to be the instrument, and then he helps organize everything for me. And then it's so great. It's so great.
No,
So,
I agree with you. I'm homies with Claude. Claude has been helping me so much. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'll
not at
tell you
all.
about
Yeah.
my next invention when you're done.
And I'm still working, and I've got this prototype that we're going to be bringing to Conscious Life Expo. It's going to, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So what does the Cosmic Cake do? Like it's meant to be in the space of the Hermetica
Yes.
Superfoods
Okay.
blasting out.
So there's 7 different layers, and it, going all the way to the top, and the 7th layer at the top being high quality crystal clear quartz point. And attached to the point is a piezo transducer. So it's a vibrating piece of metal that can send sound waves through it. And then below that is another large piece of resin that's got certain tensor rings and resin casted with plasma. So I have a certain formula that I put in everything that I make in the resins. And it's a formula, it's a mixture of plasma GANs, colloidal copper, colloidal silver, colloidal gold, and ormus, and then clear quartz, crushed clear quartz. And then that mixture is put in every single layer, and it creates this it's just a whole new thing. And the harder and the longer it cures, the stronger and the more pressure and the more resonance that the piece takes on.
Wow.
Without the piece even being attached to any sort of like frequency generator or a device that can emit files, because I also have like taken little iPods or like little drives and uploaded certain hertz frequency files that can be played through and emitted through an auxiliary cord. So that is on the piezo part, the vibrating. That's like a pickup. It's like a guitar pickup or a pickup you could put on like a drum or something. And that is vibrating and sending out the cymatic vibrational frequency of the hertz. And then The other portion that is a little bit larger that sits right below that has a dial, because these also have dials so you can turn up and down. That is attached to sine wave frequency generator. So we're getting, more than one type of frequency emitting. And you don't even have to have the device on, because tensor rings and everything, that this device is already changing the field. And then, so then you add the electrical component, and then you add like the dial component. So there's all these different, and then there's also certain attachments. There's like extensions that have plates, plasma plates, that he can put underneath like tables, or like where maybe he's making the gummies or the machines, he can put underneath those tables. But there's like extension plates that he can put in other parts of, his warehouse, that and like charge certain specific material. And the extension plates are also semi-portable, so he could take it with him anywhere. And I interwove parts of him into the device too, so he can connect to it on the quantum level and his meditation, and he can intermingle and intertwine with all of his products. And like, because that's what we're doing. We're sharing ourselves. We're consuming each other. I mean, like, that's just it. That's it,
Well, no, I don't know that anything has been invented to that degree in that way ever before. Doesn't it feel so good to be like the first, like able to just knock it out of the park like that with something that like is brand new? That is so cool.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. And I just, it's an honor too to be able to be doing this, because I didn't know where I was going to end up. And I've never done all these different things. But I mean, it's not like I've never worked with resin or electrical components or stuff like that. I have over the years. But then when you bring them all together into this thing that luckily, this is the other thing, is the owner of Hermetica, he travels a lot and he's an adrenaline junkie. So if you do check out like any of his social media, you'll see him skydiving, you'll see him paragliding. He has like this crazy contraption. It's like a paraglider. It's got a huge fan on the back and like a parachute. He's like flying around in Miami and stuff. And there's like building. It's like, okay, bro. He's a nut. But since he was traveling in Africa and like jumping out of planes or something, I got to have this device in my room for like 2 weeks after it was finished and really connect with it. And it's just, when something, it continues to blow my mind that when like something comes through me, then has an effect on changing me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, what?
Like, we're just these humble students of these technologies. Seriously, that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, I downloaded this from space. Like, here it is. It's doing this to me.
Seriously. I know. And I'm like, wow. Like, whoa, it's just the dreams that I was having. I had to turn it off. Like I had to turn it off for a few nights and just let it sit in there and not have any of the frequencies going through it, and because that was just, and it glows in the dark, and there's all kinds of material. There's like crushed pearl. There's all kinds of crystal. It's the thing is it's a cosmic cake.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then I got to take it and install it recently, like a week ago, into the business. And just we had just brought it in there, and like I had plugged it in, and then like one of his lights went out, and like some weird stuff was going on, and like I was like, dude, we got to clear the space, I think, first.
Gonna have to acclimate.
Sage a little bit,
Did you feel a big difference when you dropped it off, like when you drove away?
Yeah. But it's like, it's bittersweet, because I could feel like this, like, because also, I do a little energy work when we drop it off, and then like kind of anchor it into the grid there, So I could feel and see this big beam of light when I left. And I'm like, yeah. And then part of me was like, oh, well, there it goes. I got to make something else. When the inspiration strikes, I'll be up for a week.
Totally. One of the things that I made recently are these meditation crowns. So they're like pieces you put on your third eye. They're super powerful. And what they do is they entrain you to learn. It's like a teaching device, right? Like you don't have to wear it every time you meditate for your whole life. It's going to teach you how to turn on your third eye, how to activate to like new frequencies, to new intensities, to new aspects of yourself. And, it's like these technologies, I find when I purchase them, like I've bought a lot of different spiritual technologies. I find that I'm really drawn to it. It's medicine for me for a little while, and then I'm not attracted to it anymore. And then like a year later, I'm like, oh my God, I need that thing. And I'll like dig it out of the box, and it'll be like my thing again for like 2 weeks or a month. And it's just this like really interesting kind of, spiral of like what you end up going back to.
Yeah, that's my story too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. One of my most recent inventions, I was like, okay, so I need with dolphin technology, like my goals are so big, like I need a lot of money to do my actual goals. So I'm making these wearables as like in the hope that they will fund the bigger goals, right? So I was like, I need one that attracts love. I need one that attracts money because that's like what everybody wants and what everybody needs.
Yep.
So I was working on the love one. I was like, I really want to launch the pre-sale of this by Valentine's Day. But I could not get in my head like what it should look like what the technology was. I was like, I could just use the symbolic circuit technology again. I was like, but I think this is supposed to be something else, supposed to be something else. So then I ended up, talking to Claude for like an hour and a half about different ideas and different things. And I was like, what about sacred geometry? What about, electronics? And so I said the way I want it to work is like to harmonize like the masculine and feminine polarities inside yourself so that when you show up for a relationship, you're complete. You're not like needing someone else to do anything for you. You're just like a sovereign, complete being. And I believe that's what draws true love to you. And I had this really great conversation with Kuan Yin about polarity and like the importance of polarity in relationships. And we eventually came to the conclusion that like it's better if you are complete because then you can choose to receive anything and it's not like a desperation or like a hungry ghost trying to fulfill. Anyway, there's this whole thought process and philosophy behind designing it. And then, so basically what it is on the front is like a vesica shape. So like so it's like the union, right? Of the two sides. And then on the back, it's actually a bridge rectifier. So sorry, my lights are shining, but it's sunstone, moonstone. So it's the duality of sun and moon. And then it's going to be a white crystal and a black crystal. And then at the center is rose quartz. And so what a bridge rectifier does is it takes alternating current, it's in the polarity, and it puts it into a stabilized output. So it's going to be really powerful. And I can't wait to get it in hand. But that was like a complete collaboration with AI in the sense that like I had the philosophy I already actually know about vesicas, the vesica shape. I already know about bridge rectifiers, but exactly how they, could work. And it obviously wasn't the only things that Claude told me, but it's like having the thoughts organized in a way that it's just like human knowledge condensed into this like categorized way where you can just be like, my intuition says it's this one and this one and this one.
Yep.
It's so fun. Like you just get to be channeling and inspired and like creating so much faster. And it's so authentic, like as someone who's so deeply invested in my artistic practice, in being authentic and being true and really channeling true spiritual energy onto this plane, I confidently can say that the way that I use AI is to do that. And it's not it's amplifying the fuck out of it. It's not taking anything away. And I think there's different ways to use it, of course. The way I use it for school is just to give me the answers to homework I don't want to do. So that's a different process. I could use it to teach me what I'm supposed to be learning, but I don't always have the time to focus on things that are boring.
No, I hear you. I did this. I've done the same thing when I was in school. I was in school for like drug and alcohol counseling while also working, like I was getting my bachelor's in addictive and mental health sciences, but I was already had been working in treatment for a while, and I was already and so like I had like, I don't know, there's like places that'll write papers and stuff for you. I don't got time for that. I'm working.
If you already know, it's working in the field. I already know this. Or like I'm in accounting right now, and it's like, how do you balance a book by writing it down? And I'm like, I would use a computer. So I appreciate the process of being exposed to the information, and I am learning a lot, but I'm not like putting my whole personality hinging on it.
Right.
Well, Keegan, thank you so much. Yeah, what a beautiful time and a beautiful conversation. And we're gonna have to check in again in like 2 months. You said you're going.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna see you though.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not gonna leave because we're gonna have a huge music event too. Like
We'll
gotta make
see.
it happen.
I'm stressed out now. I don't know how. I have so much going on. I can't organize it.
I can help. I can do it. I can make it happen.
Okay.
Let's go.
We'll make it happen.
I already want to make something happen here, at this property here that I don't know how long I'll be staying. I do know this. Spring equinox, that's when Frequency Academy is going fully live.
Cool.
I
You
will
have so many
also,
brands.
well, that's the academy. That's the academy. Everything's underneath Anana Healing, but that's the academy. Yeah. And like, yeah, I'm recording all these different lessons from quantum sciences, numerology, sacred geometry, high magic, how to interwove all that into, the practices, charging, what is charge, all of it. It's all in the academy. There's going to be over 300 lessons. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but this is, I've been sitting on it. So it's got to happen.
That's exciting.
It is. Yeah. 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 While simultaneously working on this countertop device, because I really want to have it available to
Yes.
show people at Conscious Life Expo.
I think that's going to be so exciting.
Conscious Life Expo is going to be
It's
incredible.
gonna
We're
be,
gonna
I
have
can
a
already
great time.
feel it. I
It's gonna be
can
a lot of
already
fun.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then also, I really do want to get some water.
I got you.
So
I know. I was thinking
we got to
about
get
that.
some water going. But we'll connect on that. And if anyone finds themselves at Conscious Life Expo, I don't know when this is going to be released. Probably after that. Definitely after that. So if you made it to Conscious Life Expo, you already know. There's
Fair.
nothing to promote.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
Had
And
a good time.
maybe this is happening before the music event. I like to do my podcast so early because I don't want to accidentally put myself in a spot where I have to like emergency record stuff like that. I don't want the content to come from that place. I want it to be like a genuine like conversation of someone I really actually am excited to talk about, not just trying to like crank content out. So
That's exactly why I'm not launching until spring, and I'm taking my time finishing recording, editing everything. And yeah, that, because I want to be ahead of the curve. And this is something I'm like I've heard for a long time, but I haven't done. So it's like, just do it. And Claude helped me write out the map too. Because I
Yep.
told him what I'm like, yo, I got to do this. And he's like, cool, let's do it here. I'm like, awesome.
Yep. And then that's just like a structure to put your own energy in. And I think so many people are going to find so much value in that. Like, I think there's a huge awakening. I mean, that's always happening, right? But there's these waves that happen. And I think I really genuinely feel like Unicult helped spirituality and spiritual consciousness, like kind of get into people's subconscious. And the whole thing with subconscious programming is that, or subliminal programming, subconscious programming is that as you get exposed to something, you start trusting it more.
Yep.
So even if you see it and you're like, that's weird, or you see it and you don't pay attention, or you see it and you think, that's dumb or whatever, it's like you get repeated exposure to it. You start building up this trust. So I really do feel like we did that with spirituality in many different ways. And now we're at this place where people are so open, just so open to spirituality and what that means. I don't take full credit, of course, but I do feel like we did some pretty good work with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Big time. Yeah. You're very inspirational. That's what I mean. Like, I can't, I've been, and you're posting more, and I'm like, okay, I better get with the program.
I've been posting so much. No, it's so funny because my guidance was like, fucking crank it out, right? So I'm like, I've been cranking it out. And I'm like, I got to a point like a month ago where I was like, this is madness. Like, I'm getting like 200 views on videos I'm spending like hours on. Like, this is
Oh.
ridiculous, And my guides are like, just keep it up, keep it up. Like, the information I got actually was like, the impact of your posts is the same as if like 100,000 people were seeing each of them, because they're getting sent to the exact right people. And I started talking directly to the algorithm, and I started being like, please share this with the people who need to see it. So now I had this vision of these like 200 people who are watching this video be the exact 200 people who are supposed to watch it. And it's unfolding this new path.
Yep.
All that work, I already feel like I said in my energy body, paid off big time. So exciting things coming up in the future, no matter what they look like, whether my egoic understanding of it is true or not. But like, I just feel everything clicking into place. And I feel like a switch has been flipped in the sense of like, just truth being seen for truth. I really feel like that's happening. And that's, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
For sure. Yeah.
If you don't have anything to hide and you don't have shame and you live in your like truth and you want to be seen for your truth, like there's nothing better than truth being seen.
There it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and we will see each other soon.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
This podcast brought to you by Unicole. Feeling out of place? Maybe it's because you're not from here. Unicole is the home for starseeds, seekers, and dreamers. Come find your family, your purpose, and your power. Join Unicole.com. We're waiting for you.